Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Breaking news at this hour, we just learned that a longtime lawmaker from North Dakota has passed away. Former Senator Mark Andrews died on Saturday, October 3rd at the age of 94. He was elected to Congress in 1963 and re-elected 8 times to the U.S. House. Andrews was later elected to the U.S. Senate in 1980 and served there until 1987. Due to the COVID pandemic, there will be a private family service. It will be simulcast and or available for later viewing. You can find that link on the website for Hanson-Runsvold Funeral Home. More breaking news tonight. Quarterback for the North Dakota State football team, Trey Lance, has declared for the 2021 NFL Draft. This would mean that Lance will be leaving school and not playing in the upcoming Bison spring season. Valley News Team's Beth Houle will have more on this breaking story on Valley News Live at 6 and 10. President Trump is being closely monitored inside the White House today as he continues to recover from COVID-19, while at the same time downplaying the disease that's claimed more than 200,000 American lives and comparing it to the seasonal flu. Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
President Trump back in the White House, still battling coronavirus and the very real concerns about how vulnerable he may still be. His doctor saying he's doing well today after 3 nights in the hospital and reporting no symptoms. But his escalating downplaying of the illness is drawing more scrutiny. Today, in a tweet flagged as misleading, the president comparing the virus to the flu, which he falsely claimed kills 100,000 people in some years, and saying we have to learn to live with COVID. Top health official Dr. Anthony Fauci drawing a sharp distinction between COVID-19, which has killed 1 million people worldwide, and the common flu.
It has some overlapping symptomatology early on, but flu doesn't do the things to you that COVID-19 can.
With more than a dozen cases now reported within the White House, concern extending to the Pentagon, where the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and other top brass are going into quarantine after being exposed. That caution at odds with their commander-in-chief and his highly choreographed return to the White House, where the president peeled off his mask before going inside to meet waiting staffers and tape a message designed to project strength.
Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives.
Medical experts say President Trump is still within a 10-day window that will determine the severity of his illness.
We hope that he gets through the rest of this without a worsening of his symptoms, but he's nowhere near out of the woods.
Nevertheless, the president tweeting he's feeling great and looking forward to debating Joe Biden next week in Miami.
As the debate commission considers how to move forward with the next 2 presidential debates, a source familiar with the discussions tells NBC News one option is to hold them outside. In Grand Forks, a high-risk sex offender is changing addresses again. Roger Whaley now resides at 1702 22nd Avenue South, apartment 210. This is the second time he has moved in about a month. He was convicted in 2017 of having child pornography on his computer. High-risk sex offenders are considered the most likely to reoffend. Police are asking you to keep an eye out for this chair. It was stolen from a patio at a North Moorhead home. It's a wicker egg chair with navy blue cushions. If you see it or recognize the woman in this photo, call dispatch 451-7660. The wind might be taking care of those leaves you were planning to rake or giving you more from down the block. Let's check out the forecast for this evening. Hey, Nathan.
Yeah, Andrea, knowing my luck, those leaves are probably all right where I need to walk. But yes, still windy. This is our Home of Economy Skycam in Grand Forks, showing the wind is still with us and some clouds there in the northern valley as well. But the good news is winds aren't as aggressive as they were yesterday. Still seeing sustained winds at this hour from 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting upwards of 20 to 25 miles per hour at this point. But these winds, even down from Valley News Live at 4, where they were gusting to 30 miles per hour in some of our western neighborhoods. We do still have a red flag warning for our South Dakota neighborhoods until 8 p.m. There was one of these warnings for our western neighborhoods, but because those winds have subsided, that red flag warning was canceled. Temperatures down south in those low to mid 80s, 81, Sisseton, 85 in Aberdeen. Even in Fargo right now, sitting at 68 degrees, a little bit cooler off toward the north where we have those clouds around for most of the day. 56 right now in Baudette. And there's those clouds we're seeing at this hour. Even right now, seeing a little bit of a thunder shower making its way toward Lake of the Woods County in from Canada. So we may still see some of these rain showers pushing their way through our northern Minnesota neighborhoods tonight, but they'll be splash and dash. Now, Andrea, we do have some more cooler weather on the way for the days ahead. We'll break that down coming up.
All right, thanks. A Moorhead man is facing charges after court documents state he inappropriately touched a young girl several times. 43-year-old Roberto Garza is charged with 1 count of second-degree criminal sexual conduct. According to court documents, the 12-year-old victim told investigators that Garza began assaulting her after being released from prison while staying at her grandma's house in Moorhead. The victim says Garza kissed her, rubbed her inner thighs, and put his hands down her pants. If convicted, he faces up to 25 years in prison. In Wahpeton tonight, a beet plant is back to normal operations after a fire at Mindak Farmers Cooperative. Officials say it started around 5:30 this morning when the boiler vacuum caught on fire. 2 employees were working in the area when the fire broke out. Crews rushed to the scene and contained it before anyone was injured. The coronavirus pandemic prompted one Fargo eye doctor to buy a new piece of equipment to make eye exams quicker and easier, eliminating the need for patients to have their eyes dilated and crowd in the waiting room. But that instrument is now being credited with helping save a Cheyenne High School senior's life, detecting a brain tumor that's likely been growing for the last 5 years. Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley talked with the Moxness family this morning in a story you'll only see here on Valley News Live.
Avery Moxness has been suffering from bad migraines since she was about 5 years old, but says a few years ago things started getting unbearable.
I couldn't sleep them off. I couldn't just get better the next day, and I'd get more symptoms like ear pain or muscle pain.
Despite multiple neurology appointments, prescriptions, and various recommended remedies, nothing's helped.
More salt, more iron, more exercise, like
Gatorade.
And Moxness says she didn't walk into Dr. McCulley's office last month looking for any answers. In fact, it was only the two's first time meeting and was only supposed to be a routine eye exam.
She took a picture of the back of my eye and said that my optic nerve was swollen.
So when I first looked at these images, I knew things did not look good when we see all of this swelling around the optic nerve. So swollen that it's even obscuring some of the blood vessels leaving the optic nerve. On a scale of 1 to 10 for how severe this is, I would say it's about a 9 or a 10.
Moxness was then sent to the emergency room to get an MRI, which found this large brain tumor. 2 days later, doctors removed as much of the tumor as they could and sent it off for testing at Mayo Clinic. But the Moxnesses have yet to hear back.
It is scary, you know, thinking, oh, what if I have to go through the whole cancer process later? And I always feel like I don't have time for that.
Yeah. I feel like we can't take that next step until we actually get that phone call.
The Moxnesses say they're keeping their thoughts positive while playing the waiting game, emphasizing the importance of getting your yearly eye exams, even during COVID. In Horace, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
If you would like to help the Moxness family, we have a link that you can find on our VNL News app. Just click on this story. And local healthcare officials are also reminding you to schedule cancer screenings. Grand Forks Public Health says with COVID-19 taking priority in healthcare facilities, cancer screenings have not been prioritized, resulting in lower screening rates. Experts say roughly 1 in 8 North Dakota women will get breast cancer during their lifetime, adding for those who are diagnosed, early detection greatly increases the chances of survival. In Detroit Lakes schools, a second round of COVID exposure in as many days. State health officials confirmed several cases of coronavirus in adult members of the Roosevelt Elementary School community. Exposure dates were last week from September 28th to October 2nd. This means no school today at Roosevelt. Full distance learning for students and staff starts tomorrow. Close contacts of the confirmed cases have been notified and are under quarantine. The World Health Organization says a COVID-19 vaccine may be ready before the end of 2020. 9 experimental vaccines are in the pipeline of the organization's COVAX Global Vaccine Facility. Its goal is to distribute 2 billion vaccine doses by the end of 2021. Its Director General made this comment to its executive board.
We will need vaccines, and there is hope that by the end of this year, we may have a vaccine. There is hope.
Dr. Tedros didn't elaborate on the comments. He also called for solidarity and political commitment by all world leaders to ensure equal distribution of vaccines when they do become available. Legendary rock guitarist Eddie Van Halen has died at the age of 65. His son and band member in Van Halen, Wolfgang Van Halen, said on Twitter that his father lost a long battle with cancer. Eddie Van Halen was a guitar virtuoso whose blinding speed, control, and innovation propelled his band into one of hard rock's biggest groups. A Texas family is planning a vigil, and a police officer is charged with murder after an officer-involved shooting. That's next on Valley News Live at 5.
And we can expect some clouds to hang around this evening, but the winds do calm down as we go into the 10 o'clock hour. Winds, or temperatures rather, cooling through the 60s into those upper 50s in Fargo and in Grand Forks. Same story, plenty of clouds, cooling into those low 50s by the midnight hour. We'll break down your full forecast next.